now. If you like this video, check out our other ones. There'll be a helpful tip for you in there somewhere. Oh my God, what is wrong with me? How do we successfully communicate? There's lots of different ways that we communicate, but I'm gonna help you find the right one so that you get what you want. But before I do that, if you could click the little red button and support us, that would be wonderful. So communication can be really hard sometimes when it shouldn't be. So I'm going to talk about ways that we communicate that's not really helpful, that will not set us up for success. So the first one is not saying anything at all. So if someone asks you something or someone's doing something and it bugs you and it's not what you want, but you feel bad or you don't want to say anything, so you stay silent and you don't say anything at all. And yet inside you're like, right? But you're not saying what you're feeling. It's all inside here. So you're not communicating anything. So other people don't know what's going on, and then it's just festering for you. So it's basically no communication, right? And it's not like you're not saying anything and you're letting it go. Like, you probably should have said something. So staying silent when there's something you want is not the way to communicate. Another way that people communicate is through passive aggressive, right? So they want something, but they don't really want to say it. So they're passive aggressive and they say it in these little microaggressive ways, right? That's not a great way to communicate either, because either it goes over people's heads and they don't know that it's passive aggressive. So they literally take you like, oh, okay. Or it pisses people off because it's kind of mean, right? So what usually passive-aggressive comes from not saying our truth for a while, and then we're slipping it in other ways. But being passive-aggressive is not a healthy or successful way to communicate. Another way is just being darn right mean and blowing up on people. And generally that tends to happen when either we've been festering, we didn't say anything for a while until we throw it all out at you, right? And we're just and mean, and when you're mean, like, people can't really listen to what you're saying. It's not a great way to communicate because all they feel is anger and hate coming towards them, and they shut it down. So being really mean and blowing up at someone is not a great way to communicate as well. So how do we communicate? So the main thing is knowing what you want.
Hello?
Like, what is your truth that you want to say? And then having it come from a place of power, of equal to. So this is my want, this is my need, right? And being able to stick up for yourself, not in a mean way, not in a way that hurts other people, but in a way that states what you really need in the moment. Yeah. So communicating for success is knowing what your truth is, being brave enough to say it, but say it in a way that's not personal and that's not mean. It's just really literally saying what we want and what we need in our life. Does that always mean we're going to get it? No, but it does have a higher success rate than those other three, right? And a lot of times people will give you what you want if you communicate in the right way. But if you don't say anything, you're not going to get what you want. If you're really mean with someone, generally they're not going to give you what you want. Passive aggressive generally doesn't work either, right? So the idea is like, figure out what do you really want? And generally there's a whisper. Sometimes it's like this tiny whisper and you're like, no. Like, listen to yourself. What's your want? What's your need? And express it. But do it in a way that's kind but firm. Like, this is my want. This is my need. I'm going to communicate it to you as an equal, but this is what I want. So I just want you to like start being aware, like, how do you communicate? What's your like go-to communication, right? Let me know down below. And then start being aware of it. Like, how do you communicate most of the time? And maybe most of the time you really are like really good at communicating, but then you slip into passive aggressive sometimes, or you slip into not saying anything at all. So just start to figure out like the ways in which you slip into communicating, and then remind yourself, like, let me just say what I want. Let me just say it right now. And the more you're able to do that, the more successful you will be. So let's go out into the world and communicate successfully and get what we want. And guess what? Here's what I want. Subscribe to our channel, like this video, and watch our other videos. How's that for communication?